Good afternoon, evening, ladies and gents. Welcome back to another beautiful video with the gorgeous BT. We have you back, sir. I'm so pleased. I've been wanting to speak to you for ages on our own, as you know, because we've been chatting for a while about this, haven't we? And as always, it's divine timing.
I just enjoy being back with you. I enjoy being with the people of the planet. It's so important what we're going through, and to recognize, all of us who are in this truth movement in some way, shape, or form are being attacked. I just want all of you to know this, okay? Know that the spiritual energy that you're creating is a beacon to the dark source of energy. And as we elevate our consciousness into this 5-dimensional world, leaving the third and the fourth and those entities behind, the purpose of us reaching that fifth dimensional knowledge is to step into our knowing the truth. And I think many of us, here in the United States, who are at that point are very similar to the 3% of the Revolutionary War back in, who helped create our country. And so, each country is going through this at this time. And I know, like here, the mask mandate people, the Gestapo, they're totally out of control. I mean, they know it's going to be coming to an end. They recognize it in some way, shape, or form, but they're these power hungry people. And I'm sure you're seeing that over there.
Oh my goodness, yeah. So over here in the UK at the moment, it's absolute nonsense. Like I was saying to you before we came on, it's utter nonsense over here, BT. It's this division that has been created is, the only way I can see us getting through this is a civil war. Genuinely, right now, the rights are being stripped. I mentioned to you just before, there was a gentleman yesterday who had an accident and broke his neck, and they're not treating him because he will not have a COVID test. It's that level of nonsense over here now. And it's quite interesting because one of my friends sent me a voice note earlier today of somebody else in one of the groups that she's in, and she literally just forwarded it to me on Telegram. And it was basically a lady in Sweden saying, as much as we don't have any issues with restrictions in Sweden, actually, although like we're going about our day-to-day lives, like nobody's waking up. So which is better and which is worse? Because here in the UK, we have so much nonsense going on. One day we get told, COVID has now been downgraded to treat like the flu, which is what we've all been saying for a year. Then the next day it's these passports are going to be coming in. Then the next day it's, so many people have passed because of the V. Like it's literally like being in a narcissistic relationship. It's we're going to give you a little and then we're going to take it away from you. We're going to give you a little and we're going to take it away from you. However, as awful and traumatic, and I'm sure it's the same with you guys over your side of the world, as awful and traumatic as it is, people are waking up.
Yeah. And they're waking up at a point where it's not just a little bit. Okay. Like when most of us first started, and even when I was young, being taught by my grandmothers, okay, understanding the energies, I had to wake up to that type of a understanding where other people are waking up to, what is government? What is my role as a citizen or as one of the people, however you want to look at it, okay? And so, over here, there's the aspect of Gestapo, the aspect of racism, the aspect of identity crisis. All these issues are being pushed at a level that is frustrating for most people.
Yeah.
Literally just frustrating where they're breaking down internally within their spiritual energy because they don't know how to release this. They can't accept their egos to a point where they're unable to receive the true knowledge of truth within spirit. And that's one of the hardships that I see over here. Here in Florida, we have, I'd say probably 80% of the people are pretty much at that point of tipping.
Amazing.
Out of everybody. Okay. And so everybody has some understanding of what's right and what's wrong. The sovereignty aspect, the ability to travel without restrictions as our natural human right, so to speak, or God-given rights, however you want to look at it. And, they try to say that the Floridians, because we who live here, who are residents of the state, if we travel to another state, New York and some of these left states wanted us to have a COVID vaccine pass because we're an open state. And so our governor, said, that's a bunch of, BS. Okay, DeSantis, I mean, great governor. I wish there were more like him here in the United States. I mean, he's, nobody's perfect. Let's remember, okay, nobody's perfect. But I tell you, he has taken this head on and has done the right thing within a spiritual journey or path. And so that's important. Over there, I don't know exactly who's taking away or providing those type of things in your country, or some little provinces or something of this nature are more open than others because, their mentality is much different and not being overthrown by the government or pressured by.
Yeah, it's a bit different over here because we literally have been locked down for pretty much the last year. We've had a few months here and there where we were allowed out and stuff, but it's a general sweep across the whole country. Predominantly there's Wales that have had a few more like lockdowns and whatever, and there's certain areas that have been told no, absolutely not. But quite frankly, since December we've been in lockdown the whole time. There's no gyms open, there's no restaurants open, there's no bars open, there's nothing open other than the supermarkets and main shops, like the main ones, like chemists and stuff like that, pharmacies. But it's the big brands that are open. Like the smaller ones aren't allowed to open. It's this real hierarchical issue going on over here, and people are just accepting it. People have just, oh, okay, well, this is just what it is now, and we're supposed to be opening back up on the 12th. So next week, we're supposed to be restaurants and stuff like that. But something that you just mentioned about the passports, that's what's coming. That's what they are saying. If you want to go out for dinner, if you want to go to the pub, if you want to go to a gig, if you want to go to a sporting event, you've got to have a passport to prove you've had the V. Simple as that.
Right. And one of the things that most people are unaware of is the connections of this time with the aspect of astrology, the aspect of constitutional law, or one would refer to it as the domicile of law. And that's regulated through every country pretty much in a similar manner, uniform based, I would say, because it's all under common law, where the people are in control of everything. And so we've been working with this gal here locally, and since we moved here to Florida, and she's wants to remain anonymous at this point, but we're working on her. She has tons of knowledge, and she's a definitely a light source energy to the world and to the planet. And all of us are stepping into those energies who are new within this understanding of how we have to share our truth with others to help humanity. And so she's been working on a few things with us, and we're kind of directing her what we want to be able to do and how it correlates with current systems and current happenings around the world. So we've come up with some new areas here within the United States, and this is where we're working at first. And we're going to hit different countries, and the UK will be part of that, but we have different timelines set up for each country. And so we've done a lot of research, and I love history. So I've been, looking at the different countries around the world that are, been gone through empires and, different types of, dictatorships and regimes and all this kind of stuff, and trying to just sit back and have spirit just say, okay, this is when it took place. When you look at the history, what was the tipping point from good to light, within that energy. Okay. Good is like, everybody's just, kind of hanging out, but where everything just like dramatically increases with knowledge of spirit, the knowing comes into effect, where lies deceit can't be anymore, things of this nature. And so we've been working on this month. And so this month's kind of interesting. So I'm just going to kind of touch base on a few highlights.
Please
Okay.
do. We're all like going to grab our popcorn.
So first of all, every planet, and I've had my astrology charts read and by some really wonderful people over the years, and Magi astrologers, the originals, out of Egypt and all this kind of stuff. And everybody's always pretty much said the same thing within my chart. I'm here on a spiritual journey. That's just the way it is.
No shock.
Yeah.
You do surprise me.
So just one of those things. And so each planet has like different energies. Okay. So right now in April, okay, in April, here, the people of the United States. Now, this isn't the government, because we're going to look at this from the people side and the governmental side. And we're going to try to do this within every country that is a crucial part to change all the energies for all the countries, because some countries won't play a part other than the ending.
They'll consume. Yeah.
And some countries will play a part to push it all towards the ending. Okay. And that's something that we have to take into consideration. And there's a lot of people who are upset with the way the political game went and Trump not being in control over certain things in their belief. Now, within the military aspects and all these areas of executive orders and powers and realizations, there's a lot of things behind the scenes within the stars. Okay. And so we're going to touch base on this now. Okay. So on April 11th, okay, let me get my calendar out here so that way people just kind of take notes. Okay.
I'm going to take notes.
And on April 11th,
that's Sunday coming.
Okay. Venus is squaring with Pluto. Okay. Now, most of us would go like, what the hell does that mean? I mean, seriously. Okay. Because most of us don't know. Okay. And so I'm going to kind of touch base with what Venus, okay. Venus is the I love energy. Okay.
I've been feeling a lot of that.
Oh yeah, I know. Okay, so Venus is squaring the love with Pluto. Okay, and Pluto doesn't really get along with too many people, from my understanding. Okay, I'm just saying, just
that's like our governments.
Yeah, isn't it? Okay, and so we're going to be going through like some power struggles within relationships. Okay, and that's going to be kind of on both sides, the people as well as the government. Okay, they're struggling within their relationships. Okay, because here we have these 200 plus countries who are all part of the good reset versus, the bad reset against the rest of us. Okay, and so these relationships that we have are very instrumental within how other countries work with one another to overcome this slavery mentality of globalists. Okay, and so that's going to start happening on April 11th. Is there going to be a boom? I don't know. There could be. I'm just saying there are some areas there that we have to look at. Now, there's going to be strong energy. It's going to be the first new moon of the year. Think of that. So it's a great time for us as people around this planet, around the world, to find our heart source energy where our spirit lives. Okay. And really start utilizing the correct verbiage within your intentions. Okay. None of this, I hope, I want, I'm asking, that ain't how it's done. Yeah. You see it, you create it.
Yeah.
Give the gratitude for it. Okay.
Yeah. Do you know what? Just sorry to interrupt you. I've noticed in the last probably month, whatever I believe truly occurs literally instantly. And I've been encouraging everybody around me, stop with the maybes and the coulds and the shoulds. It's happening. This is the way that it's going. Like, we need to get really clear on what we want. And whenever there's that little falter, you talk to your ego and you say, no, 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 no. You
Right.
know, it's so important because it's so powerful right now. These energies are manifestation. I never thought it could be as easy as it is, right?
It's easy. It is. I mean, but we have to find our center.
Yeah.
Okay. Most of us, you know, and I'll say this, you know, with not, you know, I'm not putting anybody in a negative position when I say this, but most of us start off in a non-grounded position before we awaken. Okay. We're jumping around, we're looking for things, we're not sure of stuff. That's ungrounded. Once we start finding things, we become more grounded within our spiritual energies. And so as we move forward, represent your intentions within your desire, within your passion, and how you're going to give back to humanity. Okay. Not what humanity is going to give back to you.
Love
Okay.
that.
But what you're going to give back to humanity. What aspects will bring joy, happiness, education, you know, all these things that we're not taught on a daily basis. Finances, you know, how do we operate our own financial system? Because it's going to be a new one. I mean, all this stuff is going to be, you know, detrimental to society in raising our elevation. Okay. And when I say elevation, it's our height in our journey. Okay. It's, you know, we're evolving. And as we evolve, it's no different than getting on the elevator. You know, some people are going to be stuck on the third and fourth floor. I hate to say it because they're not willing to, you know, look into things.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
and a lot of us will move up into the fifth and all the way up in our traditional belief, 13 dimensions. And so, you know, it's something that is identical to the moon cycles, 13 moons. So, you know, why wouldn't there be 13 dimensions? Just for those who think there's less, okay, or those who think there's more. But there's at least 13 in our traditional belief. And so those dimensions come into areas of, as we move forward, in April, the 22nd and 23rd are going to be another area that are going to be very, very strong in energies, not so much in energies that are negative for the planet, okay, but energies that are going to create some synergy within the planet, okay. And this is what happens. Venus and Uranus conjunct in Taurus, okay. So there's going to be willingness to be a rebel. Okay, people are going to go, you know, we're tired of this stuff, So I don't know, the 22nd, 23rd, people around the world, the globe, certain countries, might already have it already planned and designed.
Well, interestingly, on the 24th of April here in London, we're having a massive protest.
Okay, well, okay, I'm just saying, okay, and I don't know any of this stuff. Just, this was not planned, people, okay? Now, there's also going to be the energies of fight for the value of your energy. Think of this, fighting for the value of your energy. And these are kind of terms that you're fighting for value. So what's valuable to you? Is it your 9-to-5 job? Is it your house payment? What are you fighting for? All these aspects of energy that no longer serve your highest good. What are you anticipating? What are you fighting for? Okay. Now, if we're all on board on the same thing, which I do believe we are, okay, we all have different paths within this board, but it's all aimed at the same center of the board, okay, to be free, to have sovereignty within ourselves, within our country, to be able to go and come without passport, vaccines, okay, things of this nature. Identity is always a good thing.
Do you actually feel that is the truth, that we're all fighting for the same thing? Because I truly believe that there are still some people out there that are just like, I don't care. As long as I get my money, I don't care what I've got to do. Just let me like plod on. I'm just gonna, almost be my blinkers, and I'm just gonna do it. Because like for me, I just don't get that. Because even if it's not a cause, like for travel, for example, most people are having the vaccination because they want to travel. Simple as that. They want to travel, so that's what they're doing. Now, I am a real wanderer, as you know. Like my soul was put in me to wander this planet, to create relationships all over the planet for this time right now, to lift the grid up. However, there is no freaking way I would be getting on any aeroplane if I had to have that thing. I just wouldn't do it. Now, I'm not suggesting you don't do it. I'm just saying that's my values. So for me, I cannot fathom that anybody would just do anything just to keep ticking over and tickety boo and it's all about self. Because for me, I'm not necessarily doing it for myself. I'm doing it for my little sisters. I'm doing it for the next generation. But do you believe there are still a lot of people that
Now, remember my statement. Remember what I said. Okay. Everybody is fighting for the same direction. Okay. No matter how you look at it, this is a movie.
yeah
Okay. We have our parts, they have theirs.
yeah
Without their part, we wouldn't have a movie.
yeah absolutely.
Okay. We wouldn't be in the position of taking charge and the responsibility of being a sovereign spirit in the physical form here on this planet. We wouldn't be doing it.
Yeah.
Okay. Because again, we'd have everything already.
Mm-hmm.
This is to show that we as people who have lived on this planet numerous times or for the first time, whatever your traditional belief may be, are here not just for a purpose of 9 to 5, being rich or poor, being sick or in perfect health. We're here to have those experiences to create the knowledge within us, to know we are connected to source. Like you said earlier, manifestation. Okay. When you manifest and you're in your right power, I mean, you could say something like this, and the next thing you know, it's like this, it's here. And it's freaky.
Yeah.
It is. Most people have been in the old routine of, holy hell, I've been doing this for 6 months and 12 years and whatever the case may be. It's like I haven't got shit. Okay. But I am sorry. But you're not doing it in the manner of the highest energy for your journey.
Exactly.
See, Spirit ain't going to give you something that's just, not going to make you into a more positive person. I mean, that's just kind of how spirit is. So back to what I was saying earlier, we're all at that same point. It's just we have different roles. Okay. And we tend to forget that. And that's the hardship of our own personal ego, because we want to be able to control, certain circumstances that we feel we should.
Yeah.
But we tend to forget that they have their role.
Yeah, can I just interrupt you with that? Because a lot of people come to me, and I actually did a couple of videos because of it, and they're like, yeah, but why on earth does my mum think that the vaccine is good for her? Like, why can't she just see it? And I think what you just said is something that I repeat a lot. We've all got our part to play. We've all got our contract to play out. And that's, if you think about an actor, they may have taken a role to be the baddie, but you may have taken a role to be the goodie. They're serving their contract. And if you think of it literally like that, that's what we're doing here. And there are 144,000 of us that are here to literally change the world. Now, if you think about that in the grand scheme of 8 billion people, give or take, on the planet, that's a tiny number, right?
A tiny number, yes.
But we are serving our contract. We are doing what we believe. And so many people would think that we are crazy.
Mm-hmm. Oh, I know. I mean, I hear it all the time. The things that we're creating right now through our understanding. Okay, some people would refer to us as manipulators of time, because we are creating. Okay, and when we create, the marker of time is memory. So this memory that we're going through right now, this struggle of time and everything, it's going to be in the timeline of knowledge and knowing for so many future generations that it'll never occur ever again. Okay. And that's the reality. And so again, on this 22nd, 23rd, okay, whatever ingenious idea you may have that you've just kind of stuck on the back burner, okay, bring that out. Utilize your vision, your passion within your heart, your cosmic connection to the universe and the galaxies beyond. Okay. Some people call those heavens or heaven. Okay. Whatever you want to, however you look at it, but just take this into consideration as a suggestion. Fall in love and enjoy something out of the ordinary. Think of that. Fall in love and enjoy something out of the ordinary. Well, those are powerful words.
That made me feel lovely.
It does. I mean, it allows you to really, there's a lot of people in the world that go through, and I get this, and sometimes people will text me and they're like, oh, I'm running late. Oh, and then they're like, please don't hate me or whatever, you know what I'm saying? Okay. And I'm like, I don't even have that in me. I love people. The biggest thing that I love about people is communication, because once people communicate, there's no reason to be angry. There isn't. I mean, life comes in different time zones, and sometimes my time zone doesn't actually work up to my own timing, because something else comes in and I just got to accept it. I can't change it. I mean, just the way it is. Okay. So everybody out there who feels that way, just let it go. Know that you're loved. Notice that, chill out. Okay. And so just find something out of the ordinary to fall in love with. Okay.
Love that. I'm like, yay. I never like to rush time, but my gosh, that sounds exciting.
Just start looking at that. Start doing that. 22nd, 23rd. That's your purpose, as a suggestion. Okay. Now, this is where it gets kind of really cool. Okay. On April 23rd, okay, Mars enters Cancer until June 11th. Okay. Now,
so
Mars.
Friday the 23rd, Mars enters Cancer.
Okay. So, like, Mars represents the American government.
Okay, can that be other governments as well? So like the UK government, I was just
strictly here. Yeah, I'm working on every country right now. Okay? And I'll get to all of you. Just
I have to ask because people will post like, oh, does that mean so? Yeah.
This is strictly the US and the people of the US. Okay. And we're gonna, like I said, we're gonna kind of work this down, and hopefully one day I'll have this beautiful, beautiful person come on, because she can explain it so much more. But I'm just giving you the highlights, the aspects from where most of us who are in this journey of knowledge already can understand what we're talking about. Okay. And those who are new, gather the information, do some research on things, and look at it from different perspectives, because that's what we're here for. Okay. We all have our gift to help this 144,000 of us, we all have this gift, and there's not all of us on the board yet, just so you know. Okay. Not all of us are here yet. And those who are here are sure looking forward to those that aren't. Okay. Get on board, find your passion, come join us. Okay. Don't be afraid. Okay. So now Mars enters Cancer. Now, Mars is not particularly happy in Cancer. Okay. Mars does not like Cancer. Okay. It's a little bit too emotional and not action orientated as Mars prefers. Okay. So those of you who are Cancers understand what I'm saying about emotions. Okay. Okay. I'm a Cancer, just so you know. I'm a Cancer. Okay. So, we tend to be connected to much deeper areas of thought processes, one would say. Okay. And then others would just say we're full of shit. Okay. I'm just being just calling it the way it is. Okay. That's my disclaimer. Now when Mars goes and it'll be transiting, okay, Mars, okay, is going to be transiting over the American planets. So the American planets that oversee America, okay, do you follow me? Okay, so America, the people, is Venus, and that's April 28th, okay, and that's I love. America, the government, Mars, April 28th, is I act. America, the people, May 3rd, is Jupiter. That means I grow. America, the people, the sun, May 15th, I am. Okay, I'm going to kind of pause that right there, May 15th. The reason I'm going to pause that is because I want you to think about this, okay? Let's say hypothetically, the sun is a communicator, okay? In my tradition, I believe it is, okay? You know, in my traditional belief, I believe everything has some form of communication, frequency, vibrations, knowing and knowledge and records. Okay, so the sun is a form of communication. I think we're going to see some things around May 15th within the solar flare aspect within the sun. Okay, and within the solar flare aspect, solar flares in our traditional understanding of cosmic energies, the way we have evolved here on this planet, is the solar flares that are activated are frequencies of knowledge that are sent here to this planet. Think of that. Okay. Think of this frequency that the government doesn't want you to see these solar flares. You know, they're always just, solar flares, can't see, can't do this, can't do that.
Stay
Think of that.
inside.
Okay. So if they're so concerned about the solar flares, what are solar flares? Okay. I've always been the one, if they say this, I better look here. Okay. Better look at this. And so in our tradition, again, we believe that the solar flares are communications from the highest spirit source, God, giving us a little bit of information because that's how he works, how she works, because both energies are within God. Okay. I mean, look at us, two beautiful people right here. Okay.
Exactly.
And so we have this solar flare possibility, some form of something coming from that sun direction. Okay. Now, on June 2nd, the American people come to Mercury. And Mercury is, I think. So let's look at it from a perspective of May 15th to June 2nd. Okay. It takes a little time for things to get here. We all know that. Okay. The solar flares have already happened. We just haven't seen them yet. Okay. Technically. Okay. And so as we move forward into this transition, that knowledge is going to be gained here sometime around June within the American people. The American people are going to come to a conclusion for the majority of them that, you know what? It's either this is the really crazy what our government has done in conjunction with all these other countries, in conjunction with the CDC and everybody else who's pushing all these lies and deceit and causing chaos within the economic systems, and all these values of personal identities, businesses being destroyed, churches being shut down, whatever it is. People are going to have to start recognizing, and I think that June 2nd is going to be a big day for recognition around the world. Okay, I think that within the energies itself, humanity is going to get a big blast of truth. And so somewhere around that time, I definitely do believe there's going to be some things that we wished would be disclosed. Okay. And when I say wished, I say that very lightly. Some of us have been bitching and moaning about it for a long time. Okay. I've been teaching and learning and doing this stuff since the 70s. And trust me, I've had many days with, the guy upstairs, not very happy with the way things are. And again, it's not my timing, it's his. and hers. Okay. Because it's humanity's timing. It's not about BT. It's not about Lucy. It's not about, all the other people who are doing positive works out there. It's about humanity because we are a collectiveness of consciousness. We are the true identity of source. Each of us are. And sometimes sources can be playful, sometimes source could be a little rowdy, you know what I'm saying, we all go through things, you know what I'm saying, okay, a little rowdy, all right.
That's where we all came from.
But the big day will be June 10th, okay, for everybody in this planet, June 10th. And that's where the American government, okay, moves through Uranus on June 10th. I evolve is Uranus. I evolve. So, does this mean on June 10th or somewhere within that time frame of energies, okay? Does this mean that we, the people of the United States, return to the United States? Because for many years, we've been the United States of America Incorporated. So is this a disclosure time where people may say, why isn't there anybody at the White House? Why isn't, the District of Columbia a state? What is the District of Columbia? X amount of square miles, its own corporation status within a centralized area. In layman's terms, it's a reservation of globalists, period. Technically incorporated. Think of it, a business. I saw some of these Gestapo police go into these different churches and kind of waking up the people there when they said, you're not a church, you're a business. I wonder how many people took aim at that and thought, well, what the hell does that mean?
Yeah.
Fact. All churches, doesn't matter if they're in our jurisdiction in the United States, nonprofits, I'm not sure what you would call them in your country, but if they're the same, they're still hooked up to the government energy and they are a business. That's how they're regulated. Okay. So think of that. Why do I go to the business to pray?
Yeah, it's so interesting, because a lot of this stuff, not the stuff that you're talking about specifically, but there's been scenarios that have come out through the UK press, and it's almost like they're giving us stuff, but then they're saying, oh, no, that was a slip up or whatever. So it's almost like they're red pilling people, but kind of with this buffer. I was saying earlier about this narcissistic relationship, like we're going to give you a little and then take it away. That's really what we're seeing over here at the moment, walking into a church and saying to the people there, this is a business rather than a place of prayer. Some people would get that. Other people would be like, oh no, they said that wrong. They didn't mean that. It's cognitive dissonance, isn't it? And that's what we're seeing a lot of over here in the UK. This is very fascinating though, what you're sharing.
Yeah, and see, but this is the same here in the United States, okay? And when you look at it, the people here in the United States, I mean, there hasn't been very few people within the religious background area that actually have true backbone to be in that background area. I don't see too many of them over here holding services and telling the police department to get the hell out.
Yeah, right.
Who they are. I don't see any of that. And these are people who are supposed to be representing the spiritual identity of sovereignty. And, I'm not, picking on any one person, but there are some mega churches here in the United States, in Texas, and, people that, have, mansions the size of cities, in some countries, but yet they turn people away when there's flooding in their area or other aspects. You see what I'm saying? These aren't people of spirit, and this is what I think that means is when they say it's a business. Look at these people who are of spirit, so they claim, but yet they are turning everybody away.
But this is all part of it, isn't it? This is all part of breaking down the matrix. It's about us actually getting a clear vision on what's been in front of us for our whole lifetimes.
Correct.
Certainly for my lifetimes, for my whole lifetime, this lifetime, I've seen churches, but when I look at them, they are a business. You look at the police force, they went from giving a damn to being paper pushers, not being disrespectful to any of my people that work in the police, but it's true, and if you actually stop and take your rose tinted glasses off and you actually look at the world through your own eyes, you will recognize that every single element of our life has been a business. All of it, bar none, including our own selves. Now, there's something that I would really like to pick your brains on, because this has been coming up a lot for me recently. Now, you mentioned May the 15th, potential solar flare, like something we may see it or we may feel it or whatever. There's potential for that. Now, something that I've been getting a lot of recently is that all of the monoliths are in place. And all of the monoliths around the world are currently bedding in to do their job. And I feel, nobody said this to me, but I feel a solar flare or something like that is actually what's going to create the energy bubble that literally wakes. Because we're going to need something, right, to connect with those monoliths to actually do a catastrophic event to be able to lift it up. How do you feel on that?
The monoliths that are around the world, the sacred sites, okay, are huge. Uh, when you look at sacred geometry in the sites, there's no coincidences where they're placed. Okay. And when you look at the power of the sacred sites, I think probably the key instrument for all of them is Peru. And the reason I say that is because of the knowledge that was generated there prior to all knowledge here on this planet. Okay. And so when we went there years ago with a group of other individuals to do clearing and restore certain ley lines and close certain pockets and do things of this nature, spirit came to me very strongly in that area of Machu Picchu. And I've had spirit come to me many times on many occasions and daily, technically, but there was a download that I had received while I was there that was much more connected to other areas of monoglyphs, big temples. We're talking Mexico, we're talking the pyramids, we're talking Indonesia, we're talking all these countries that have these works of art, beautiful places that were cut out with lasers, back in times before our times, and all these things. And so when you start looking at those sacred sites, they're definitely charged and they're ready. And so the solar flare within itself, if it would connect to each and every one, because each and every one's a generator, okay, a generator of energy. A lot of people don't realize, like, they've seen things like dealing with the pyramids of Egypt, and they understand the generator underneath the ground with the water and going into all that technology. But each and every one of these have certain areas of generation. Some are magnetic, some are electrical, some are just of water. Okay. I mean, there's multiple areas of energy
That's
that are
intelligent, isn't it? It's a very,
yes.
very intelligent structure that we've kind of been led down a garden path believing it's something that it is, but they haven't given us the whole truth on it. That's the feeling, that's my truth on it anyway, is how many people recognize that these sites are so profound.
Yeah. And the cultures that protected them. Think of this. Okay. Because, for generations and eons, that's why our history is so messed up with truth and lies and misguidance and things like this. But just think of the people for before history was written. Okay, think of it from that standpoint. how many eons they were there and protected these sacred sites,
Yeah.
because other areas didn't want them. I mean, that's the reality. That's why they were placed in certain areas that you couldn't get to.
Yeah.
Think of that. I mean, who's going to climb 16,000 feet to get to a place to tear it down? Very few people are going to do that. You know what I'm saying? Because it would take an army and armies of armies. And these people, they weren't going to lose. They had the high point. So, and the knowledge. That's why the mystical or the magic schools, they're the educational colleges of the cosmic people who come, and that's what they were utilized for. And so, you have the lay people of the planet looking at this knowledgeable aspect here. They knew there was a separation. These people were different. They came from the stars.
Yeah.
Not to say that these people didn't, but these people definitely were the individuals who created technology.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Amazing.
And so, those are really interesting things. And so that outlook of April 28th, I love. April 28th, I act. May 3rd, I grow. May 15th, I am. June 2nd, I think. And June 10th, I evolve. So those are the areas there. So think about this. If Mars is already agitated, okay, and he can't move very fast, okay, you know, he's just cruising, okay, you know what I'm saying, okay, and he's coming into some super domestic sign and underwater where he is forced to show his movements. Think of that. He's forced to show his movements. So think of the deep state right now. Think of the deep state being forced to show their movements.
Yeah.
Okay. And so that's kind of what I'm thinking. I'm thinking there's going to be something there that they're going to there's going to be a slip up. There's going to be something there that's going to create a ability to see what they're willing to do. Okay. And when I say what they're willing to do, the deep state, are they willing to create some kind of false flag fight,
Yeah.
war
I see this.
during the time?
I see
Okay.
it massively. Yeah.
And do they say, oh, we can't wait? They use everybody's emotion and impatience. Oh, this is too dramatic. We got to do this.
Yeah.
Okay. What is the deep state going to actually move forward to try to achieve that's going to be so in our face that we can't miss? So think about that. Okay. Think about protecting your home. Think about protecting your family. Because again, when this transpires, this is the last war before the 1,000 years of peace, people. I mean, think of that.
God, I get emotional just thinking of that. Like, it was like a pang in my heart. Then
No, I know. I get teared up, but it's one of those things. And so, we have to be able to, maintain our integrity within our own spiritual sovereignty. And protection is there's nothing wrong with protection. Okay. That's what we're here for. Just know that. Okay. The other thing that we have to take into consideration, this goes back to all of us who are having difficulty accepting what our loved ones have chosen dealing with the bee and all this other stuff. Okay. Don't fight with your family and loved ones. Okay. Just don't do it. It ain't going to solve anything, ain't going to change anything, and isn't going to bring them back if we lose them. Okay. So please take it into your heart. Don't fight with your loved ones. Take that energy of frustration and put it into some positive energy. Let it be, you know, in your community or, something, you know, focus on something else. Okay. And all that's April 23rd. So there's a lot of, like they said, cancers get emotion. Okay. So just,
yes.
just know that.
So we've basically got a couple of weeks, haven't we?
A couple.
We
Oh
got a
yeah.
couple of weeks. It's what's so interesting, BT. When I was channeling the energy for this month, you know, it's April showers, you know, and there has never been a more but we're going to see the sun starting to come, you know, it's when the sun's, it's going to give us that little bit of hope. And everything that you've just spoken through feels extremely right for this month, but also what's coming. So do you have any dates past the 10th of June?
I do. Okay.
Love to hear.
Okay. Now let me just kind of touch base here. Let me see here. June, May. Yeah, because we have yeah, you're talking about the solar eclipse on June 10th.
Well, just generally,
Just
because
so
we got up to the American government moves through Uranus. I evolve as Uranus. We got to that with June the 10th. And then, like, do you have anything else for this year or?
yeah, yeah, well, see, all this stuff starts on the 23rd. Okay, so each of those dates, Venus, okay, that's when Mars enters Venus. Okay, on April 28th, Mars enters the American government, April 28th as well. Okay, Mars goes through Jupiter, May 3rd. Okay, all those are in conjunction as everything starts. That's where all those planets are moving. Okay, so when we go to April 24th, okay, and we're going to kind of give this down because we're going to be doing some more of this.
Yeah.
Okay? Venus, Taurus, and Saturn and Aquarius all do a square, and it's at 12 degrees, so it's a perfect square. Okay, so they all riled up Vesti energy of Venus, and Uranus is suddenly checked by reality by Saturn. Perhaps the first test between an idea and reality. Okay. So maybe this is going to be like the first opportunity on April 24th after we get all these movements of planets where people actually start seeing, let's say, individuals who are doppelgangers, the people in the masks. They're going to start noticing different things. Okay. And so within those energies, now, as we move in, April 26th, Scorpio's a full moon. Okay. Scorpios always stirs up the people's darkest unrealized fears. Okay. So April 26th, you probably could be going through some emotional baggage, some of the things that have held you back on knowledge, some of the things that will not necessarily allow you to move forward as we come into this fifth dimension of truth. Okay. So look at some of that within yourself. As we go into April 27th, Pluto, which is the empower, goes into a retrograde motion. Okay. Now, as it goes into this retrograde motion, the government is actually kind of going through this kind of restructure. I think is what's going to take place. Okay. I think we're going to see some other things being changed in front of us.
So you think this will be a visible thing rather than, obviously we know stuff's going behind the scenes. You believe this will be
So,
visible? Awesome.
yeah, I think so. Okay. And I think the reason why it has to be a little visible because it has to give some people some hope. It has to give somebody some knowledge that, because again, people are going to start waking up. People are going to start feeling this energy. People are going to start transitioning into their own power. People are going to start recognizing the ability within themselves to grow spiritually while maintaining their identity in the physical 3D, 4D, now moving into the fifth dimension. Okay. And so we're going to jump all the way to April 30th.
Okay.
Yeah, there's going to be some more solar flares. So I think that we're going to get some more downloads. Okay. And I think on April 30th, this is what I think. Okay. I've done a little prayer on it, and Spirit's kind of guiding me this way. Okay. That it's going to be an explosive time of energy.
Right.
Okay. We're talking the apex of time within this truth movement. Okay. It's going to be a time of either making it where the majority of people come on board, or one would say breaking it, where we leave behind those who can't and we just still focus on what we do.
So
Okay.
you think this
Again, not
division,
everybody, yeah,
this
that's
division's even more so, right?
I think so.
Okay.
Because again, we who are here to help move this planet forward, the 144,000, those of you who are out there that know you're part of this, but haven't stepped into your role, we require you. We are grateful for you. Okay, understand. You're not in it alone. It's time to step into those shoes. Now, May 26th, I'm going to jump to May. Okay. May 26th, you have a full moon in Sagittarius. Okay. So that means the truth versus non truth on May 26th. Okay. Now, Sagittarius can stretch the truths. Okay. So we got to be really, really understanding what Sagittarius is doing. Okay. Now, the sun goes into Mercury as well, and that means tricks and games. So there's going to be some, as some of the people out there who are on this journey say, there's going to be some disinformation and some real information. And I'm not going to be able to tell the difference between the disinformation and the information because, again, it has to be set out in that manner. Okay. So, whatever we hear, whatever people are saying, think about it. Okay. Don't get all butt hurt because somebody says one thing and it doesn't occur instantaneously on your time frame. Okay. I'm just saying. Okay.
I think that's a really valuable point that you've just said there, because there's a lot of people that, because disinformation is being spread, it is a real thing. People, when that happens, they kind of get annoyed and they start losing the faith, and people get called shills and all sorts of things like that. And I think it's very important that we are in a war. We're in a war. Nobody is going to tell us everything that's happening. Nobody's going to show their hand, so, and certain people that have a huge following will get disinformation shared with them.
And that's a common thing. I mean, I've had disinformation given to me. But I just, I do the same thing, because again, it's a diversion. So the deep state doesn't recognize you actually do know what's going on. Yeah. They think you're off on another page. Okay. And that's just the art of war. I mean, if you haven't read the book, get the book. I got it here. If you need to, I can, give you the information if you need it. Okay. I mean, it's here. Now this is where the tricks and the games are going to be very important to recognize, because it's going to come from the media. It's going to come from journalism. Okay.
And this is still May 26th.
26. So whatever the outlines of that day are in journalistic, fake news, propaganda to separate us as a humanity, pay attention. Okay. Pay attention. Now, when we get into June 10th, back to your area there. Okay. Okay. We could see a huge hoax take place within this time frame of June 10th. Okay. Now, Gemini is the trickster or the hoax, and the disillusion would be coming through Pisces. Okay, so you wear Pisces represents a lot of things in a lot of aspects, but I'm just going to say the fish. Okay, so let's look at the fish from a spiritual standpoint. What does a fish represent in most cases? Christianity. Is that a fair statement? Okay. So, is the Vatican going to be doing something around this time? I think there's going to be something happening within that energy of the Vatican myself. Okay. Could be disclosure. It could be the fact that the satanic aspects of certain areas within the Vatican are identified, brought out to the general population, and Vatican has to cover this up. I don't know. But there's some energy there, I believe, that's going to transpire. Will we see it? I think we will probably see some of it, but we won't see all of it. But I think we'll be told about it. Okay, that's how I feel. Okay, so then on that aspect of June 14th, this is something that's really interesting. Okay, Uranus is in charge, and Saturn goes back into retrograde. So there's going to be a lot of shaking and a lot of unsettling on the earth. We'll probably feel some earthquakes, might see some tsunami stuff, some weather manipulation by the deep state. I'm just saying. I mean, I think this is all possible. Uh, we're definitely going to see some physical structures falling. Physical structures falling. Okay. Now, again, this is the United States. Okay. Remember this. Okay. This is the United States. Okay. But the United States plays in the global, so I'm sure people will be affected in some way, shape, or form. Okay. Physical structures falling. When you look at DC, the tallest physical structure in DC is what? It's the memorial. Boom. The single structure. It's like the center part of the whole satanic ritual area. Keep an eye on that. I don't know what's going to happen. I'm not saying it is going to happen. Okay. But I just find it very odd that physical structures of government will be falling. And this is to the stars. Okay. This ain't, hey, I mean, this is what the stars.
You're channeling. This is the stars,
Yeah,
right?
what the stars are saying. This is not me channeling. This is not me being directed. Because again, I want to be able to bring out all the different aspects within this spiritual journey. Okay. And within the stars and our traditional belief that we believe we're from the cosmos and that all of you are angels and we're here in the 3D, 4D form and experience this crazy freaking life again and again and again if we choose to. And those of us who choose not to get kind of upset and wish they did. And, they live in not fear and guilt and shame while they're up, and then they have to come back down because they're living in this energy. So they can't go back up. You know what I'm saying? You're fucked either way. You know what I'm saying? But it's
pretty much.
it's a good journey. Okay, but I love it. I'm grateful for every experience. Okay, and so physical structures falling. Now, if it's not DC, what could it be? Could this be the great earthquake of San Francisco? Huh? We've always talked about that area of land in the United States that's already on a seismic crack. Okay, I mean, physical structures falling. I'm just saying, there's all these possibilities.
Yeah.
But we've been hearing about these since the beginning of time. So if it does happen, it happens, right? Okay. According to the star, something's going to go. Okay. Don't know what, don't know what. I'm just saying, but that's where it's at. Now, physical structures, Saturn, encountering sudden shifts and changes by Uranus. Okay. So, does that mean that some of these structures are going to shift from dark to light? What does that mean? I mean, there's, and I'm going to do some prayer on all this stuff, okay? Because like I said, we've just been going through this, okay? And I'll get some more downloads and I'll get some more understanding about this. And I'm just bringing it out from where we have looked at it, okay? Where this great, beautiful gal has been doing this research, okay? And so this is what she has shared with me through her knowledge, okay? And she showed me on the chart and everything like this. So I've seen it. So this is firsthand knowledge, not, down the road, 4 times down the road. Okay. All right. This is what she has shared with me.
Amazing.
And I honor her for that. Okay.
I can't wait to meet her when she's ready.
Oh yeah. You'll meet her when you get here. That's all. She just doesn't know. She's got to I got to get her to a point where she can come online.
Yeah, for sure.
And you'll all love her. I mean, she's this bubbling light energy that just, you know, you just want to hug and look, you know, I mean, she's just a great energy. Okay. Like all of us. Okay. I mean, all of us have that energy. Okay. And so at the same time in June 14th, we have the ability to turn an idea into reality, creating something out of nothing. So all of us on June 14th, throw in our preparation of gratitude for what we want to see here in the United States. It will occur instantaneously because the manifestation in the United States will be like that. Okay. And again, around the globe as well. We need all the prayers, everything. I mean, everybody does. And we will get to your country. Just know that. Okay. You know, I mean, yeah. Well, yeah, you're four. You're number four. Okay. We got two more ahead of you, and then you're four because, you know, count the US. So those are my squares. Okay. The four squares. Okay. Just so you know. And so anyhow, November 19th, we're going to fast forward. And I'm going to come back to some of these dates too, but these are just dates that I feel that we had discussed that are important dates. Okay. November 19th is a lunar eclipse. Okay. Scorpio always stirs up some mud. Okay. So somewhere on November 19th during that lunar eclipse, you're going to get a good look at something for the last time. Okay. So let's think about that. November 19th, a good look for the last time. I feel it's going to be where humanity steps on board and either understands or is left behind.
Yeah.
Whoever
Oh,
that
I've got
person
goosebumps all over me. Literally, I've got goosebumps all over me.
Whoever is left behind is left behind. Okay. And we just have to accept that. Okay, people? You know, again, do not fight with the family and friends over all this stuff. They all have a part in the path. And it's a difficult path for both of us. Understand that. It's not easy. Okay. Now, as Saturn and Uranus square, okay, Saturn is associated with a tyrannical father obsessed with rigid enforcement of law. November 19th. So we're going to be seeing some pretty strong, probably either police or military stuff happening. Okay.
Around on the 19th still.
On the 19th. Yeah. Yeah. Right before Christmas break in government.
Yeah.
That's what's so funny. Okay. Again, this is the United States. So that's how I got to look at it, folks. You know, you governmental senators and representatives and congressmen, I hope I hear something very nice in my ears. Okay. I love you. I love you just playing a role. Okay. Now, Uranus is a break from tradition. Okay. So if something happens on November 19th, okay, according to the stars, okay, and let's say it's the bad players in Congress and Senate after all this truth comes out about the election, okay, because there's going to be a lot of truth coming out, but the election is going to be the biggest because those people here in the United States are having very much difficulty in understanding why in the heck the military hasn't stepped up and done something where everybody can see. Okay. Understand the military is doing what they have to do behind the scenes so there's not chaos in the streets and innocent people are being killed. Okay. We've had riots, we've had all that stuff. We know what will take place. Spirit does not want casualties. Understand this. Spirit does not want casualties. Okay. There will be casualties in other ways, but we do not have to be a part of that. Okay. Let the deep state people deal with that. We will take care of them in due time. Okay. And when I say they and we, you understand what we're talking about. Spirit does. Okay. The Hague is a very strong court. Tribunals and all this stuff is very strong. Okay. War crimes against humanity is very strong. You know, the trials in Germany were nothing like what it will be with the trials that we see coming up. Understand that. Okay. This is the Third World War. This is where humanity either takes its place in the cosmos or we are defeated. And right now, just so you know, we've already won the battle. We're not defeated. Okay. We're not. It's just a matter of going through preparation, showing people, letting people take the ability to do their research, personal responsibility, know the truth. Okay.
Make their choice, right? They've got to make a choice.
You got to make the choice. And that's what this date is. Remember, we said either you're on board or you're off the board.
Yeah.
Okay. Now, people don't feel isolated. Okay. Whatever's happening at this time on November 19th, around that area, don't let yourself get isolated. Be with people who you love, be with people who you care for. Because again, hypothetically, if this goes down, we could have martial law in the streets. I'm just saying. Okay. Just saying. We could have areas that are shut down, closed down because arrests are being made. Okay. I'm just saying that's a possibility.
It's a long time away though, right?
Yeah.
I know in the grand scheme of things of being in a war, it's nothing at all. Like we're only 1 year in. Like wars normally go on for multiple years, right? But
well, this is I'm getting to some of the most important part, okay, here with the United States, which is really fascinating. Okay. Now, when we look at the November 19th area, okay, and let's jump all the way, but there's some other stuff that we can go over a little bit later, but I want to just jump ahead real quick because I know we're on time and this is an important part. January 21, 2022. Saturn conjuncts America, the government, to Pluto, 14 degrees to Aquarius. Okay. This is huge, people. Listen to what I'm going to say. This is huge. The stars that come into alignment at this time here in the United States, dealing with Pluto's return on the American people, okay? Not the government, the people. It's at 27 degrees and 33 minutes retrograde, okay? Pluto hasn't been back to this same spot here in America since, drum roll please, 1775 to 1777.
wow.
Think of that. Think of that, people.
Wow.
Huh?
Wow, that's huge.
I think that's when we'll have our country back.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. How beautiful.
So think about that. We're going to go through this period of time, okay, for the same amount of time. So think of this, 22nd to the 25th, 2022 to 2025 is where our country comes back to our country. We'll probably be doing all the re-education at that time within the cities and counties and states and governmental.
Do you know what's so interesting? Do you know what is so interesting about it all? I mean, that's beautiful, first and foremost. Thank you so much. I think everyone is going to freaking love this, BT. So thank you so much. And to your gorgeous girl, just thank her so much because everybody is going to love this. Okay. I love it. And the fact that, you know, we're talking realistic timelines here. You know, like people are messaging me daily saying, oh my God, when's it going to be over? Like, this is realistic. Like, I've been talking 2024 for some time. However, what I love is when you said between 2022 and 2025, we're going to be doing the re-education process. I have been saying for a while now, April 2022 is when we are going to start healing and re-educating these children and these humans that have been damaged by whatever, whether it's the vaccine, whether it's whatever. That's the point that this is going to start. And it's just,
that's according to the stars, people. And if you're a religious person, who created the stars? Who knows all? Hmm?
oh, BT, I think this has got to be one of my favorite videos ever. Not just with you, but I mean ever. I love, honestly, it's been amazing. And I would love us to do more. You know, I know you said that there's other dates and there's other bits and pieces. I would love us to do, whenever you're ready to do another one. I would love, love, love. Guys, if you want BT to do another one, comment below, because I am blown away by this. Like, I'm blown away by it completely. Like, I'm like, oh God, another year. But at the same time, I'm like, it feels right.
And again, understand that what we're going through, okay, is a difficult time for the cosmos. Okay. When I say the cosmos, other planetorial galaxies beyond ours, okay, they're affected by what happens here. Okay. Because the frequency of this universe generates a certain sound.
Of course.
And as we change in humanity, our sound is in a higher frequency that is of a spiritual entity where we're able to move through things much easier. Okay. Where the emotions of this physical plane don't exist as they do today. We're all blessed. We're all blessed. And so before we all say goodbye, okay, this is a good time to do something here. I'm going to go ahead and just kind of share something with you guys. You can still hear my voice, okay, but you won't be able to see my face for a second, okay? So just hold on, okay? Just hold on. All right.
I love it. I love it. It's brilliant. I'm talking to my invisible friend.
Okay. And so, all you people out there who go to these places, with your masks and all this kind of stuff, because they won't let you in, I understand. Okay. And so the other day, Spirit said to me, says, BT, maybe what you ought to do is just go in and start wearing your cosmic math of the universe. And I thought, in our tradition, we make these masks that are spiritual masks that are made out of tortoise shells. And we paint them according to our spiritual identity and our galaxy connections and things of this nature. And as a spiritual shaman and things of this nature, I do readings on people and create their own masks for them as well, all hand done and things like this. And so these are very important energies, okay? And so this is just one of the ones that Spirit said I ought to go ahead and start wearing. So I don't know if you guys can see that
I
good
love the mask. I love it. It's so colourful.
But I thought, we're all from the cosmos. How would you feel if you walked into a store and said, "Yeah, I'd like to buy,
I think you should do it.
There's not too many here in Florida, so that's the thing. But I thought, I might have to send something back with Lucy when she comes to the United States.
Absolutely. As soon as I am allowed to travel, I'm on the plane. Straight up on the plane.
We do. And thanks again. And just know that there's already a plan in motion. Okay. Be peaceful. Don't stress.
Yeah.
Don't fight. Be supportive. Step into your shoes. That's the most important part. We need everyone here. We need the whole 144,000. We can't do it by ourselves. Exactly. That's the important part. Lucy, we honor you. We love you.
Oh, I love you guys so much.
And just know that, you know, this is a realistic time frame according to the stars if you really put it together. Okay. And again, we're doing for every country. Okay. The next two countries that we're going to be doing is Iraq and Vietnam.
Yeah.
For those of you who are out there in the knowing.
Yeah.
Okay. And then we're doing the UK.
Beautiful.
The reason why we're doing it in that order is because of certain resets and certain economic changes that are going to be occurring. And in my opinion, those are the three that are going to be very interesting on creating this global educational process through sovereignty and asset backed currencies. And it's important to know.
Yeah, South Africa, I imagine, would be another interesting
South
one.
Africa is going to be interesting too, but South Africa is how would I put it? I, in my belief from my research and things of this nature, and is, you know, I don't believe that it's going to come as people see right away. South Africa,
I totally agree.
and because of the misrepresentation in values of dollars to what was actually paid for. Okay. I mean, it's crazy. It's not like other currencies. It's much different. And so there's going to have to be some stabilization within the world. And then
and we're starting to see that in Iraq now, right? That's the process that is in flight. I think it's fair to say.
That's my understanding. And there's a lot of people out there that disagree with that understanding, but you know, that's where I feel it's at. I think things are rolling. I think things haven't actually been all the way kicked into first gear, so to speak, but I think they're definitely at the starting gate and revving the engines. And but at the same time, before these engines get released, okay, one has to blow out. That's in my belief. And so if we have these two systems side by side battling, which is what's happening, we know we're not giving up because we already have won the race. Okay. We already know.
Yeah. It's just how long the other one goes on for.
This person has a bad crankshaft. And what that means in layman terms is they're going to get down that track causing chaos and hell and turbulence. But as we move down the track, it doesn't matter if we're behind or ahead. Okay. They're going to blow up.
Yeah.
They're going to be gone.
Yeah.
It's never good. They're good. The game is over. Amazing. And this will continue forward. So anyhow.
Oh, God, I could sit on here all afternoon and speak to you. So BT, thank you again. Thank you so much for your time. It's so precious, and your love and your efforts and just all of your passion that comes through is just so beautiful. And I honor you so much, and I just love you guys. And I don't know I know my followers love you, like literally they love you, so they are going to love this video because I genuinely think this is one of my favorite videos I've ever done. So thank you so much for that, BT. And I look forward to us doing the next one really as soon as you guys can do it. We'll do the next one. Yeah, okay. Right, everybody, thank you very much for watching. Do comment below. I'll pop BT's details as always below this video, and I will see you ever so soon. Take care, everyone. Thank you.